Good evening, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome to our Team Voxination training call. We have back with us again our trainer tonight, the amazing practitioner and friend of mine, friend of so many, Darlene Reimer Frost. And let me just see if I can see you, Darlene. Oh, there you are.
I'm here.
There you are. Perfect.
Yeah.
Do you need screen share?
No.
Don't need it. We're all set. I'm going to make you co-host anyways, just in case you change your mind.
Okay.
So welcome. It's so great to see everybody on here. I'm coming to you as host tonight from beautiful 55-degree Florida today. It has been such a great week down here, but unfortunately the temperature dropped a little bit today, but it was a beautiful day. Sun was shining, and we're down here caring and sharing and doing our best to get our technology out here. And I'm really excited to have Darlene on as our trainer tonight, because last Saturday, a week ago, the Saturday past, we had an event in Toronto, and Darlene did a magnificent presentation on practitioners and how to deal with practitioners. That's something we all think about all the time is, you know, how can I approach practitioners, and is there a better way, and is there the right way? And yes, there definitely is a right way to approach practitioners. And certainly Darlene has a great way of explaining it to the field. And she did a marvelous presentation in Toronto. And we thought that it would be great to, you know, being on the heels of the Toronto show, it would be great to have Darlene to continue her talk on practitioner perspective, you know, educate them or leave them alone, so to speak. So it gives me great pleasure to welcome our Team Voxination trainer for tonight, my dear friend and business partner, Darlene Reimer Frost. So welcome, Darlene.
Thank you very much, Terry. It's great to be here. And thank you for putting on such a fabulous event on January 11th, I guess it was. And it was a great event. It was very well attended, even though the weather was kind of iffy. But I was privileged to be able to go and speak a little bit about practitioners, or from a practitioner's perspective.
Mm-hmm.
And I was pretty excited because I got to sit with Angela Corns. I got to sit with the famous Angela Corns. It's always kind of funny who you always look up to in business and that sort of thing. And I'm sure if I said that to her, she'd probably like, oh, no, no, no. But I'm the same way. I'd rather sit at the back and not be noticed. But, you know, there's times when we all need to pick up a little bit of slack and do our part in the mission. Mm-hmm. And so that's why I'm here. And I wanted to talk from the perspective of a practitioner. And give a little bit of insight in that. So having said that, I have been a massage therapist for the last 27 years. I'm getting to the end of my timeline as far as being a massage therapist, and I'm very, very excited about the possibilities that Vox has been able to afford to me to continue helping others in a non-physical way for myself. But still be able to help their physical condition through the Vox technology. So that has been huge for me. It's something that I'm very excited for and very, very thankful for. When I was first introduced to it, I actually had a client bring me the form of the neuro guy, the blue page, and basically said, I spent a ridiculous amount of money on a pair of socks that are supposed to help my pain, and they didn't do squat. So I know you like to pick stuff apart, so have at it. And that was my introduction. So I did. I had at it. I researched it and I looked it up. But the thing that got me the most, I think, was not the fact that she gave me the information, but that the information, as vague as it was, made sense to me as a practitioner. Because if you can influence the brain, you can influence the body. And that was a big thing for me. And I was able to get into that.
I gotta find somebody.
Yeah, somebody's on.
Karen Stringy.
Perfect. Okay, so that was kind of my introduction. So it wasn't that somebody was trying to get me to sign up with them or introduce me to something new. It was the fact that they were trying something and they didn't think it worked. 2 years later after that, she's fully on board. She's a member with us, and she is sharing and caring and doing everything, because the patch was actually the thing that helped her out the most, and that's what really got her excited. And she's been on board ever since. That has been, it's just over 3 years ago now for me. So I just had my third anniversary with Vox. So I'm, yay, I'm celebrating. But having said that, we are all needed in this mission, not just the practitioners. Everybody is in this together. So nobody has a higher role in this business than you. So you are the one that is going to reach the people around you. You don't have to be a practitioner to do that. If you choose to reach out to practitioners, this is where the perspective is going to come in a little bit. So please don't feel like you have to be a practitioner to, or have a higher status in the company, or have a bunch of people under you as far as a team leader or building a team. You are the person that's going to meet and greet and help people that you come in contact with every day. That's what the patches are for. That's what having the experience of the technology is for. You are the one that's going to help get us to 1 billion people, not necessarily the practitioners. The practitioners may help us get a little more credibility in the medical field, and we're finding that now. Head office has released a few different videos just recently, which I've been very happy with and very impressed with. So go on the Vox team or Vox Life YouTube channel and find those, and get yourself familiar with those. And any of the videos that Vox Life actually puts out, familiarize yourself with them. One of the things that I'm going to be talking about, and Terry and I have talked about this a little bit more at length, is that you have a responsibility to educate yourself. So if you just want to join the business to get a discount, that's totally fine. That's up to you. If you want to reach out to people, especially practitioners, you're going to need to know your stuff, because they're going to take you through the ringer. And rightly so. They want to make sure their credibility is on the line. So if they're going to be involved in something, they need to know that this is not a fluke. They need to know that this is going to work for everybody, which it does. But their credibility is on the line. So they're not going to just jump at this until they do their research. So if they're going to have to do the research, you're going to have to do your research, and you're also going to have to know where to go to get the information that you need to talk to them. So yeah, we are going to reach 1 billion. I think it's going to be a lot faster than we could ever imagine, but we're going to need everybody's help, not just the practitioners and not just the people with big teams. Like everybody, we have to pull together as a full, big, huge world team. And this is happening. So it's very exciting to be at the front end of all this. So yeah, so there's a little bit of a backstory if you're newer to Vox, to the Vox family. Jay actually addressed this a while back and basically requested that people not approach practitioners. And the reason being is because there were a lot of people that were coming at the practitioners saying, you need to know this is the next greatest thing, and what's your problem that you don't know about this, and you got to get it out there, and you need to have it on all your clients, and this is going to change the world. And that got a lot of people upset, and head office got a lot of phone calls. And so you have to respect who you're talking to. And that's where this phone call or this Zoom call comes in, kind of getting to know how to address some of these. I'm one of them, so I'm gonna say it about myself. These weird people. So we do think a little bit differently. This isn't about just putting a pair of socks on to help mom and dad or Uncle Joe or whatever, or yourself. This is about reaching a completely different demographic of people. So with that, I want to break this down into three different words for you. So if you are writing or taking notes, or just mentally take a note of this, 3 things that I want to address tonight are motivation, mission, and mentality. So motivation, mission, and mentality. So your motivation. So when you think about, if you're on the call tonight, chances are you have thought about reaching out to a practitioner. I want you to really take a look at why you want to do that. And what is your motivation behind reaching out to a practitioner? And I'm not talking about your best friend is a chiropractor, or your uncle's a doctor. That's a little bit different. But the motivation is if you were to reach out to somebody who's a little one step away from you, as far as a contact point, what is your motivation to reach that person? Because and this is directly from a talk that Jay had a little while back, and he also addressed it at the January 11th meeting. If you intend to recruit to make money, you will fail. And this is not the business for you. That's not to say that you're not going to make money at this business and making money is a bad thing, because it is not. That is a great, huge benefit to this way of working with people. But if that's your sole intent, to reach a practitioner because they're going to build this big business and they have all this outreach that they're going to get to, your practitioner, whoever you're reaching out to, is totally going to see that, and they're going to read that, because our job is to read people. Our job is to take a look at somebody, and if we told them last week that they needed to drink more water, and they come at us this week and they say, yes, I drink my 8 glasses a day, we can take a look at you and say you're lying. Like, we just know there's that part of a practitioner that we've developed that says we are able to pick up on those types of things. So if you're coming at a practitioner with the intent that you want them to join your business to make you money, they're going to read into that. They're going to be offended, and they're going to not listen to a word you're saying. Even though everything you're saying is good and true and honest, your intention is going to be read by them. So make sure that you know why you want to reach these people. There is a reason why Jay had asked people not to reach out, and that's because we aren't like normal people. On the January 11th meeting, we had the great privilege of listening to Sean Rice talk, and he is the world-class figure skater who had a traumatic brain injury, and he was describing his first major concussion where he had fallen back on the ice. He was protecting his lift, and then the lift fell on top of him, so he had kind of a double concussion, had cerebral spinal fluid coming out of his ears, and everybody is in the whole group, I was going to say congregation, but everybody in the whole group was like, oh, wow, ooh, all this kind of stuff. And then, and I said to the practitioners, I says, who out there was going, oh, tell me more? Because we're all interested in the dynamics of this and in the intricacies of injuries, and we're looking at the mechanics of it. Okay, so what direction did he hit in order to get the cerebral spinal fluid to be influenced, and what kind of we're looking at all that kind of stuff, as opposed to how did he feel. I mean, he's obviously feeling pretty rotten and pretty awful, but we're looking at the mechanics. So we think a little bit differently. So when you say you have something that will affect diabetic neuropathy, we're not thinking about this is going to help people with diabetic neuropathy. We're thinking, okay, so how does it do that? What am I not doing that that's doing? Or, we're looking at it a little differently. We're analyzing things a little differently. So you have to understand that perspective, and understand that your motivation in reaching us as practitioners is you have to take a look at the perspective of who you're talking to as well. Again, I had a very, very good amazing privilege of being able to have my brain scan read by Dr. Sylvia Passfield. And there again, it was, I could have been really offended. It's like, oh, seriously, I have that much wrong with me. But instead it's like, oh, okay. So what are all these red lines and what does this mean? And then she would tell me, it's like, oh, cool. Okay. So that part of my brain is affected, and that's been like pretty badly damaged over there. So what does that mean? It's not like, oh no, I have a life sentence, I have brain damage. You just look at things differently when you're a practitioner. So your motivation is going to be very, very important, because they're looking at things completely different than what you are. Their motivation may not be the same as yours too. So just understand that and know that. If you want to go as a motivation, if your motivation is to help them personally first. That would be the thing that I would ask you to do as far as your motivation. So when I introduced this to my chiropractor, I didn't go and say, this is the most amazing thing on earth right now, and this is going to help all of your people get better, and it's going to help your practice improve because of it, even though that's all true. My motivation was to help him And if I would have gone to him and say, I have a business plan for you, he probably would have listened because we are fairly good acquaintances. But the fact that I said that I actually gave him a pair of socks and a pair of insoles and said, I want you to try these because I think they may help your balance. And he happens to only have one leg. So that's, his balance is very important. And the strength of his legs are very important. It says, I care about your longevity in your practice. And I know that you've overcome so many obstacles already. I want to give you this to help you further. And he's toying with it. He's still on the fence with it, even though he trusts me. He understands my perspective. He understands a bit of the science. Practitioners don't necessarily have time to commit 100% right away. So there again, he's still toying with it, and I'm 3 years in. So be patient with them. You can be persistent with them, but when you go with the intent to help, and then when that's your motivation is to help, they respect that, and that is going to take you further than just trying to build your business through them. Another example of going as a help is with Dr. Mark DeBrincat. When he had his client bring the socks to him, they were very persistent, but it wasn't a matter of you need to join this business. It was a matter of, have you tried them yet? I need your opinion, or, just to get that background. And then finally he just gave up and tried them because he just wanted to prove her wrong, and look where we are now. So the motivation to help a practitioner as opposed to help build their business is going to be read by them. And so that is very important. Moving on to the second one, the mission. So how many of you can honestly say that you know what the Vox Life mission is? And if you say we are on a mission to help 1 billion people, you are exactly right. But there's more to it than that. So if you just leave it at helping 1 billion people, how are we going to do that? Other than to say, we're going to get socks on them, we're going to help them with neurotech, because those are just sentences. Okay. So as far as knowing what your mission is, especially when it comes to practitioners, you need to educate yourself. And Terry and I just actually had a conversation about this earlier today, about if you're not committed to educate yourself, you're not in a place where you should be sharing to a practitioner and educating them. They're going to respect you a lot more when you respect them. So if you're coming at them and you may have a degree in psychology and they have a medical degree, but you come at them and you try and talk to them medically, you better know your stuff, because they're going to rip it apart. So I'll give you an example. I had talked to somebody, and this was in conversation. I wasn't trying to present the opportunity to them, but to a practitioner about the white paper. And I mentioned that we had a white paper. Oh, well, could you send it to me? It says, sure. And I warned them ahead of time. It says, it may give you more questions than answers at this point. Oh, okay, no problem. Well, no, I need to read this. And so they read it through, and they had a list of about 31 different things as far as what they didn't look at in the study. So be ready for that. Like if you're going to present to them information that Vox Life has produced, understand that we're at the tip of the iceberg with this. We have a lot more to go. So one white paper doesn't prove everything that Vox does. Neither does it prove what it does. The white paper shows you that the correlation between the pattern and how it affects, or the portion of the brain that it affects, I should say, and how that translates into brain waves. It does not say or prove that the technology improves your balance. We have a different study for that, but that's not in the white paper. So do you understand what I'm saying with that? Is that one study is not the be all and end all. It doesn't prove everything that we need to know or present. So if you want to educate yourself on that, the new website is very, very nicely intuitive. It's very, very simple. I would encourage you to go through the page from top to bottom, just the cover page. And in that cover page, you're going to find a few things. And one of the things that you'll find is the short version of how Jay would like us to describe this tech. And it's super, super, super important that you understand and follow what Jay has given us. Because if you go off on some tangent as far as what you think the tech or how you understand the tech works, and it's not what everybody else is saying, they're going to get confused and they're going to say, you know what, this is too confusing. Everybody's saying something else. Even though they're kind of saying the same thing, it's all different. So you know what, we'll wait. We'll wait till they get all their ducks in a row. Follow what he's given us. So go on that first page, through the cover page, and within that cover page, there's a section that has 3 graphics. So there's going to be the pattern on the insole, and then there's going to be like a body, and then there's going to be a woman with, you know, kind of having her hand on her neck. And it indicates that there is a pattern, or the pattern triggers a response. I think I'm still learning myself to try to make sure that I've got the same thing. It triggers a response which affects the body, and you feel a difference. That's it. So you think this is hard to understand or educate yourself on? It's not. Earlier I was referring to the white paper, yes. But this one is right from the webpage. The thing that you need to know is that the thing that he was talking about is on our webpage. It's on the very first page of our website. And it says that there is a pattern that triggers a response which affects the body, making you feel different. From there, if they start asking you questions and you have not educated yourself, go ahead and say that. Says, you know what? There's more to it than that. Let me send you to the website. Because underneath that graphic, there's a little click button that says learn more. And in the learn more, that's where it's going to send you to different things like, here's the proof, which gives you all the demographics of the increased balance, stamina, strength, flexibility, all those things that have been found to be true, along with, so that's the proof, along with the latest research. That's where the white paper is. That's where the study on the diabetic neuropathy is, and that's where the motion sway test results are. So if you go into learn more, that's where some of these things are going to be found. So if you get it that far, go read that. So there's a thing there that says the pattern triggers the body, and it affects the body, which makes you feel better or feel different. That's it. So go back, if you're finding it hard about what I'm saying here, just go back through and just the front cover page of the website, just start scrolling up. You'll see it all there. And every time you come to something that might be a little bit more in depth, there's going to be a learn more button. So that's where you're going to click. So all your general information is there. Again, this is part of the mission. The part of the mission is to educate yourself if you want to help other people, but specifically about practitioners, you need to educate yourself. So get in there. And if you don't want to, that's okay. You can send them to the website yourself. You don't have to understand and explain it. They would actually prefer that you didn't do that, because then you're not telling them. Let them figure it out. Let them read it. Let them understand on their level. But the other thing about the mission, as far as knowing what your mission is to know the core beliefs. So Jay had done a talk a while back, and I don't think it was recorded because I couldn't find it. But I know he had also done it at the January 11th meeting as well. And he talked about the core beliefs. And one of the core beliefs, or the core belief, is that everyone deserves accessible, affordable, drug-free, and non-invasive wellness. That's a big mouthful. I'll say it again. Everyone deserves accessible, affordable, drug-free, and non-invasive wellness. That's one of our core beliefs. So again, it's the same as the whole Ikigai thing. When you repeat this over and over in your head, we have something the world needs. We are constantly improving ourselves. Like those pillars, the more you repeat these to yourself, the more you understand, and the more it becomes a part of your lingo and a part of your life. And so that's what part of our mission is that if we understand what our mission is, and it's to reach these people with non-invasive, accessible, affordable wellness, a lot can fall into place just by understanding those things. But also to understand that practitioners are a bit different than everybody else will help you understand the resistance that you may feel when you go to them, because they may come across as like, not going to tell me I don't know this, because that's one thing that Jay ran across, because if they haven't studied it, they don't feel like it exists, because if it exists, technically then they don't know enough. So then they would have to go back. So instead of saying, well, you've never come across this, that may threaten them. So be very respectful of the practitioner that you're going to. A lot of us are pretty easygoing, and you know, it takes a lot to ruffle our feathers, but there's a lot of very, very defensive, shall I say, practitioners out there that you're going to really tick off. And those are the ones that are going to call head office and complain. And you really don't want head office to have to call you out on that and say, why are you pressing buttons? We're trying to work with these people and you're turning them against us. So be very aware of how you're approaching these people. And again, going back to the motivation, when you're going to help, if your point is to help them personally or their family members, have at it. Like, that's totally open game. There's no restrictions on helping people. It's when you're trying to present something to them in a way that is threatening or disrespectful, that's when you're going to be called out by head office, and they're gonna come down on you for that one. So be ready. So the third point that I wanted to bring across is the mentality. And again, you need to respect who you're talking to. You need to respect their education. They spend a lot of time and a lot of money on their education, and to tell them that they don't know something, it hits home a little bit. So just be very, very mindful of that. Allow them to or present it maybe a little bit differently. Just said, I realize this is not something you may be familiar with. And that goes back to one of the talks that I've done on objections. If you meet it beforehand, then they can't object because you've already presented it. So if you may not have heard about this new technology yet, but it's really cool, and I think it would be right up your alley. If you'd like to learn more about it, I can send you a link, or I can show you some of the research that has been done. Practitioners are not necessarily interested in your stories, because stories are very subjective. So subjective means it can affect, everybody is affected differently, and it's a personal experience. They're looking at the objective. Okay, tell me what this is. So you can tell them 31% improved balance, 17% increased velocity of force. Like, you can memorize all those things and give them those, because those are specific and those are studied and those are published. But to say this helps people with Parkinson's, even though it does, you can't say that. So this is where we're going to get into 3 traits. Now, if you go back to, I hesitate to do this because there's a few differences in it now than before, but October 22nd of 2018, Dr. Working gave a call out, and it is recorded in your back office. So if you don't know where to find it, there's another one of your research projects that you get to do. Go to resources and find the recording of Dr. Working on October 22nd, 2018. He talked about talking to practitioners specifically. And there's 3 things that he says that need to be addressed. And they are professionalism, being compliant, and having integrity. We did, Mark and I did a show in Toronto Sportsman Show, and we had a group of, we didn't know it at the time, podiatrists walk through. And they were kind of not giggling. They were 3 guys, and they were just kind of pointing at us and says, "Oh, you've heard about us before." "Oh yeah, we have." Says, "Tell me what you know." Well, to be honest, not a lot. He says, "Okay, well, how did you hear about us?" "Well, we had some lady come and talk to us, and you didn't really have a whole lot to say." And I says, "Well, did they give you any information?" "Well, yeah, they gave us the science booklet." "Did you read it?" "No." "Okay." So that tells you right there. They've got the information. They're kind of chuckling. "Okay, so tell me what's going on here." And they didn't have time to read it. You'll find that a lot. But the thing that was getting them was, here's a lady who had come to them in cut off jean shorts and a t-shirt to speak to podiatrists. Where's the professionalism in that? You know, like these, and this is not to criticize the person that did that, but it's to say, let's take another look at who you are and who you're trying to reach. So if you want to reach a professional, you need to be a professional yourself. And if that means you have to go out and get a new blazer or a new suit jacket or something, go out and get it. You know, if that's your mission, if you want to take up that calling to go out and reach professional people, you need to be professional yourself. So dress code is something that you need to pay attention to. And again, all these are kind of intermingled, but intelligence. So if you're going to address somebody who's intelligent, you may want to spend a little more time educating yourself. You do not have to know everything about the science, but you need to know where to look or where to send them to get that information that they want. And there is no shame in saying, you know what, you're going to have to wait about another 5 to 10 years to get what you want, because we don't have everything to answer every question. And that's okay, because we know the tech works. Getting to it proven on a medical sense, we're getting there. But it's not all there yet. It's not going to answer every question of every professional. So understand that and be okay with that. You do not have to give them answers to all their questions. Just know where to look and know when to say, I don't know. Can I get back to you on that? Simple as that. I don't know. Can I get back to you on that? It's a great way to follow up with them as well. So professionalism, whether it be in dress code or intelligence, being compliant, using facts, not stories. So you can tell them story upon story upon story upon testimonial. They're all true, but they're subjective. And in their world, that doesn't count. It's not that they don't have credence, but it doesn't count. They can't use that to, oh, you know, well, I was told that maybe it would help this person because it helped these other 3 people. They can't do that. That's not part of their code of ethics. So be aware of that as well. And integrity. Know and respect both their boundaries and yours. So if you're going to say, I don't even know who to use. Nurses, I guess, because I know that the nurses have restrictions as far as they cannot financially benefit from a client or patient. So a nurse can't sell a pair of socks to one of their patients. It's against their code of ethics. It's against their regulations. So be aware of that. Now, a nurse can become a Vox associate, totally, as a practitioner, 50% off everything. Wonderful choice. But they use that as a business on the side, not with their patients and clients, because that is a restriction. They can lose their license for that. So don't go to somebody and say, you can be a practitioner and you can do all these things and you reach all these people, because they may not be able to. They may have restrictions. So you can ask them that personally, or you can look it up yourself before you talk to them. But the integrity is knowing when not to push and being able to follow that. You can share personally too, and that will reach a lot. So again, we are reaching people like surgeons and chiropractors and different things simply because people are caring. So we got into Brantford General with their post-operative knee and hip replacement because Ron Hoover cared about his friend, Dr. Wolfried. It was a personal connection that did that. We got socks onto Luc Robitaille, not because somebody was trying to outfit their team, but because they cared about this guy's chronic foot pain. These are the types of connections that Vox is so renowned for, and people are benefiting just from caring. Like, you don't have to go out there and think, I'm going to outfit everybody of this whole, genre, all the hockey teams in my county. It's okay to do that. It's okay to pursue that. But understand that when you care about somebody, it goes so much further than that. And that respects the mission of Vox more than anything, is when you care. Because that's what this company has been built on. It's been care and respect and integrity. And we want to follow through with that. And we want to present that way with that. So those are the types of things that I wanted to come across. Am I missing anything, Terry?
No, I think that was sort of what we talked about. And you made a great point, Darlene, tonight about approaching practitioners with regards to wanting to help them first. An interesting thing, as I'm down in Florida here, Jen and Linda Burhans from Caregiver Radio had set up an appointment with a therapist at a clinic. And this lady said, we have a half hour. And so she was familiar with our technology, and we went in, we were dressed very professional. We went in prepared, and we went in and we simply asked a couple questions. What have you heard about it? What do you know
Yes.
about it? And then we went through, and I basically said, would you be open to wearing it in a compliant manner, wearing our technology? Because I want you to understand that we're here because we believe that this technology will continue to help millions of people, as it already has. And we understand and believe that you do what you do because you love to help people. And this is a tool that you could use in your clinic here to help people's rehab.
Yeah.
We're not saying, and we just said it was a tool. And so
Yes.
in order for you to understand, I said, I could give you all the science. I could give you white papers. I could give you everything. And if you require that, I'm here to give it to you. But would you be open to wearing it? You wear socks anyways, you wear insoles, and understand that this is just a delivery mechanism to get our technology to the body. Jay could have put this, we had a laugh. I said, Jay could have put this in a headband, but he couldn't really picture a billion people walking around this planet with headbands on. So we had a little bit of a laugh about that. And I said, just would you be open to wearing it compliantly so that you can understand and get behind what this product does? She went, absolutely, I would.
There you go.
I explained about the opportunity. Would you wear it day and night for 20 to 22 days, somewhere in there, and then not wear it for 5 or 6 days and then put it back on again? She said, absolutely.
There you
and
go.
She said, if I can get behind this. Jen then touched her on the arm and said, can you imagine the people we could help?
Yeah.
But we didn't get into the science. We just said, would you be willing to wear it? This wasn't about our product. This wasn't about, we didn't even have to get in. I said, I don't even know whether you have issues or not. And it really doesn't matter, because I said, there's no study in the world that will define whether you have neurological compromises, neurological dysregulation, better than doing your own study.
Yep.
And the practitioner totally read that, totally fell in love with that, totally aligned with it. And I actually said, give me your shoes. And she took her shoes off, and I cut insoles and put them right in her shoes right then and there. And we got her set up with socks and patches and the whole 9 yards. And then we left. All within a half hour. She respected. We asked her permission if we could. Jen asked her permission if she could follow up on a weekly basis, and she said, absolutely, please do.
Yeah.
And so we didn't go on about. We told her there's a testimonials page and showed her. She said, I'd like to be in that. We gave her the choice.
Yes.
I'd like to be in that so I can research. I said, absolutely. So Jen got her on the page and so on. So from my perspective, I have never gone after practitioners myself per se, because I didn't even feel qualified, to be honest with you. I do now after 3.5 or 4 years or whatever. But I also knew that they're not the low-hanging fruit necessarily. So if you want to build a business, and it's great that practitioners, and we have so many joining us. I mean, these videos with Dr. Wolf and Dr. Cox that have just come out are phenomenal videos, absolutely phenomenal videos. And again, they're tools for us to use in the field to understand where practitioners are coming from, because they're two totally opposite videos, yet there's similarities in the video. Yep. So, I mean, Dr. Wolf talks about taking the insoles right out of his own shoes and giving them to a patient. Dr. Cox talks about how he has his staff trained to, implement an order and so on. So, we have to understand that they're still busy being practitioners.
Yes.
We go in there a lot of times thinking this is the holy grail. We get a doctor where this is the holy grail. And I'm here to tell you, people, doctors are great. They give us great credibility, but they're not going to build your business in a way that you might think. They're busy being doctors. They went to school, as Darlene said, spent thousands upon thousands of dollars, plus years and years and years and years in school and hours of study. And you cannot ever come in there acting like you know more than they do. And it was really nice because I thanked her so much for her time. I thanked her and I said, I appreciate the education that you've taken to help people. I said, it's incredible. I wasn't able to do that, but bless you for doing that. And I said, we're just here to share, a tool that we think is pretty incredible that you can leverage in your business to help more people recover faster and so on. So it wasn't about, the business, it was about truly helping people and then getting her on the tech. And when as soon as a practitioner says to you, I'm in, I want to wear it compliantly, I want to know how this works. And I even said to her, I said, Tara was her name. I said, there's no study in the world better than your own. No study in the world better than your own. Get this product on, wear it every day. I said, hearing aids don't work on the dresser. I said, our socks don't either. And she laughed. And so she got the whole compliancy thing. So totally was a great point that resonated with me today. And it was just ironic that you talked about it today. And that's exactly what happened today. And trust me, I was a little bit nervous going into
totally.
this thing. And so I wanted to be as professional as I could be, but I wanted to be more interested than interesting.
Yes.
And the
other thing too, there are a lot of practitioners, and sadly, there are a lot of practitioners that just want to make money.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not going to have time to listen to your mission.
Yeah.
But if anybody was paying attention to what Terry is just describing, he didn't even tell them about the business, or didn't tell her about the business at all.
No.
There's that aspect too, is that if you lead with the mission and not the business, they're more likely to respond to that, because again, your intention is to continue what they're already doing, which is helping people. And I love what you said about being appreciative and being grateful, and have that gratitude towards them as a practitioner for putting in the time and the energy and dealing with all these people to try and help them. Because where would we be without these practitioners?
A simple compliment was that, just said, I'm grateful for people like you that are in this world trying to help people. Senior people that are compromised or whatever. I said, you're a special breed. You are. And, you could see she was kind of standoffish at first when we got in there. And then you just sort of break through and calmness, because you don't go in there rambunctious. You don't go in there that, we have a product that's going to take the world by storm, right?
That's right.
It's gratitude.
Fox Life is a totally different animal, and we have to respect that as well. We are out there to help people, and they're not used to that. They're used to being, basically trying to get people to join their business or sell their product. That's not what we're about. And that's what needs to be portrayed. And that's such a great way to do that.
I just think the most important thing for this call, from my perspective as well, Darlene, that you shared so eloquently tonight, is that you don't have the right to educate a doctor if you're not educated yourself from the perspective of our product. So take the time, people. I encourage you to do as much learning as you can in the back office about what we have, so that you're not like a deer in the headlights. You can answer the questions with confidence, and you can posture when you know what you know, right? But the best tool in the world is to get them to wear it. Yeah. And, to be able to sit there and have her rip her insoles right out of her shoes, and me stand there and cut new ones and put them right in there and said, you're ready to rock and roll now. It was really fun. So, great call. Practitioners are great people, very intelligent people, and need to be respected, and certainly need to be respected about our technology, because, as you said, Darlene, Dr. Mark was like, what? Brain socks? Come on. Right? So,
be persistent. You can be persistent without being obnoxious.
That's right. Absolutely.
Just keep caring.
Absolutely. Yeah. So thank you so much, Darlene. That was awesome training. I really enjoyed it personally. You're always a bomb on here. Love to have you on here as a trainer, always. And thank the people that have been going out to events. I mean, we had a great showing in Toronto. It was a training day. First one we've ever done where there was a combo training and opportunity, which was really good. And it's always exciting to see the guests wanting to stay for the training. That's always positive too, when they're not even associates yet. So a couple of things, just a couple of reminders. There are a couple of events. I'm flying out to the UK, coming home from Florida on Wednesday, then flying out to the UK Thursday night. And Dr. Mark and Jay, we are going over to the UK. There's two big events that are being put on in the UK by John Kavanagh, Prosper from Health, Philip Hawes, Tricia Kavanagh, and one is in Heathrow on January 25th, Saturday. I put the links in Unit 5 on our team page. They're there. So if you know anybody in the UK, please invite them to come. Give them my name. I'll be there. So I'll greet them at the door. Be happy to have them. The link is there on the page. Get them to these events. The 25th is in Heathrow, and the 26th is in Birmingham. The information is on those page. And I thank all the associates here that either sent or tried to share the events down in Florida. We've had a tremendous couple events and meetings down here in Florida. The word is really getting out. And thanks to the effort of people like Jen Moyer and Donalina McIsaac and some of the people that Kim Lacey, Irene Vaxford flew from California to speak here. Kevin Duguay has been an absolute bomb down here. Sean Rice had an associate of his fly all the way over from the UK to spend at 2 events here. And she spoke about her success with HBT and especially the CBT with her autistic children that she deals with. So appreciate everybody trying to promote and leverage events. They're amazing to get your people to hear it as third-party validation. So again, if you can get people to events, do your best to get them there and listen to some incredible speakers that are at these events. And the nice thing is, you know, I never ever get tired of listening to Dr. Mark or Jay. And so they're going to be at the events in the UK. So if you know of anybody, tell them to get there, give them my name, whatever. I'm going to be there. I'm blessed to be going over as well. And next week, I believe our trainer next week is going to be Brenna Bovair out of the West Coast. So Dynamite Brenna, she is awesome, awesome girl. She's going to be training next week on duplication and how to achieve it. And that's so important in our business as well. So as always, I'm grateful to you, Darlene. You're a tremendous trainer, an amazing person, and such a great missionary for this journey of Vox Life. And we appreciate everybody getting on the call tonight. So everybody have a great week. Let's continue to learn before we earn, and mission before commission, and we'll be successful. All the best, everybody. I'm going to unmute everybody, and then we can all say good night. You're all unmuted. Good night, everybody.
Thank you, guys. Good night. Thank you, Darlene.
Thank you, Darlene.
Good night, all. Thank you all for being on.
Good night.
I think we should do 175 because that seems to be, that's the number that has